This report presents the life and activism of John BraKey, focusing on his dedication to transparent, trackable, and publicly verified elections. It explores his personal journey, the development of key values guiding his work, and the creation of tools to restore trust in democratic processes. BraKey's personal journey. BraKey's activism began in his youth amid Vietnam War experiences and personal trauma, leading to a lifelong commitment to social justice and election transparency. A severe anxiety collapse in 2020 marked a turning point for rebuilding and refocusing his efforts. The 7Cs framework. BraKey developed 7 core values: character, capacity, credibility, civility, citizenship, country, and courage, that serve as an internal compass for election scrutineers and activists. These guide integrity, resilience, and responsible citizenship and democratic engagement. Character and credibility. Character is defined as integrity when unobserved, and credibility is essential in election transparency, built through consistent, trustworthy actions. Capacity and civility. Activists must recognize their limits to avoid burning out and use civility to maintain dialogue and reduce conflict, choosing strength and purpose over anger. Citizenship and country. Active participation in democracy requires public observation of elections to ensure accountability, with patriotism expressed through transparency and holding power responsible. Courage is central value. Courage is choosing hope over fear, showing up despite exhaustion or uncertainty, and is foundational to all other values. ABE audit tool creation. Collaborating with former Arizona Secretary of State Ken Bennett, BraKey helped develop Auditable Ballot Examination (ABE), a hybrid audit tool enabling public verification of ballots to restore trust in elections. Ongoing activism and impact. BraKey's 2 decades of frontline work in election transparency include legal battles and public advocacy, emphasizing that transparency is patriotic and essential for democracy's survival. Chapter 3: The 7 Cs of a Democratic Republic Defender: Courage, Character, and the Fight for Transparent Elections. This ebook will be released in chapters before being compiled into a complete volume. It includes video and audio, version 1.5, December 3, 2025. John BraKey, December 2, 2025. Film projector: prefer to watch instead of read? Short summary of what this report is about. This report is an intimate and unfiltered look at the experiences that shaped John BraKey, election scrutineer, civil rights activist, and executive director of Audit Elections USA. It traces his journey from childhood trauma and early activism during the Vietnam War, through periods of profound hopelessness, to the discovery that hope, transparency, and service are not just ideals, they are survival tools. A life-threatening anxiety collapse in 2020 forced BraKey to slow down and rebuild. Out of that experience emerged the 7 Cs: character, capacity, credibility, civility, citizenship, country, and courage. These 7 values form the compass behind his 2-decade fight for transparent, trackable, and publicly verified elections. The report also recounts the creation of ABE, Auditable Ballot Examination, a hybrid audit tool BraKey developed with former Arizona Secretary of State Ken Bennett. ABE offers a simple, scalable method to restore public trust by ensuring public verification of ballots. The message is clear: transparency is patriotic, public counting matters, and democracy fails when citizens cannot verify the process. Ultimately, this story is a declaration of purpose: why BraKey continues the fight, why Audit USA refuses to stop, and why hope, fortified by transparency, remains the strongest antidote to fear and misinformation. People often ask me a simple but sincere question. John, you've been doing this work for decades, how do you keep going? Most activists burn out within 5 years. 7 years if they're stubborn. 2 decades is almost unheard of. My own activism began during the Vietnam War. When I was 14, I saw my friend's older brother come back home completely changed by his experiences. He seemed empty, deeply affected, and sat quietly beneath a tree, unable to reconnect with life. That scene stayed with me ever since. My early life was defined by chaos. I grew up in a large, dysfunctional family steeped in a religious Armageddon cult. As I turned 15, I ran away. I was gone for almost 3 years, and that is a story for another chapter in this book. Fortunately, at 18, I entered a therapeutic community. After graduating, I remained there for nearly 4 years, working as a staff member, then a director and psychotherapist. Those years taught me that hope and understanding aren't luxuries, they're tools for survival. Now, at 71, I can say that working for social justice didn't just change the world around me, it changed the world inside me. Activism gave me purpose. It gave me hope. I also have an old saying, reflecting my decade in the recreational marine industry on Mexico's Sea of Cortez, Mexico. In life, if you harbor bitterness, love will dock elsewhere. John BraKey. Activism wasn't just about trying to fix the world. It was about fixing me first and then teaching others what I learned. You can't keep what you learned unless you give it away, knowledge, and do it with love. It made me a better husband, father, neighbor, friend, citizen, and activist. To understand why I'm still here fighting for transparent, trackable, publicly verified elections, you need to know about one night that changed everything. The night everything went black, October 22, 2020. About 5 years ago, I woke with a crushing anxiety attack, the kind that grips your chest before you're fully awake. As I walked into the kitchen, one thought kept looping through my mind: this is a bad one. I don't know if I'm going to make it. Anyone who has experienced an anxiety attack understands that overthinking only intensifies it. So, I went into the den to distract myself. I reached for the TV remote, and before my thumb touched the button, the world went black. I collapsed headfirst and somehow made a cut above my right eye. When I woke up 15 or 20 minutes later, my face was stuck to the tile floor with drying blood. For a few terrifying moments, I thought I had lost an eye. My first conscious thought was almost humorous. Well, BraKey, you're a lucky guy, you still have the other eye. Even in shock, optimism surfaced first. In that moment I understood something profound. Hope isn't just an emotion, it's a survival tool. I made my way to the bathroom to look at the damage, and it was bad. I then woke my spouse, Maricela, my partner of 42 years in 2020. I said, I need to go to the hospital. Maricela, still being somewhat asleep, looked at it and said, I can fix it, I'll get a Band-Aid. I replied, even though I was out of it, I didn't know if I am having a heart attack, a stroke, or what. True to form, Maricela started cleaning and grabbed a mop and cleaned the blood before she would take me to the ER. That's how she deals with stress, she cleans. We all deal with stress differently. 10 hours later, the diagnosis was clear: a full collapse brought on by pressure, overwork, and exhaustion. I had adrenaline crash. This is the hidden cost of fighting powerful systems: your body keeps the score. Despite initial shock, my optimism prevailed. Having experienced hopelessness before, I recognize its adverse effects and therefore make a conscious decision to pursue hope. However, that's not the end of the story. That night I had a dream that I had died. When I got to the other side, I was told, "What are you doing here, BraKey? You volunteered to go down there. You're doing good work, you have to go back, you're not done. And that Lakota prayer, meditation, and you're learning how to love beyond your fear is a good thing, keep teaching others that." That day taught me 4 truths. 1. I'm no longer invincible. 2. Activism without rest and structure will break anyone, even the committed. 3. It was time not just to fight problems, but to build solutions, a path that soon led to Ken Bennett and the creation of an audit tool, ABE. Audible Ballot Examination. For, it was time not just to fight problems, but to build solutions, that path that led to Ken Bennett and us working as a team, first in the Maricopa election audit and later the creation of an audit tool ABE, and Bennett, 5 Steps to Achieving Verified Elections. The 7 Cs of an election scrutineer/activist. My internal compass that keeps me steady. The 7 Cs did not originate in academic settings. Rather, they developed through practical experience gained in tabulation rooms, courthouses, county recorder offices, and during the demanding efforts required to uphold democracy and our democratic republic. 1. Character. Character is who you are when no one's watching. It isn't performance. It isn't branding. Character is the quiet voice inside you that refuses to bend for convenience, approval, or popularity. If people can't trust your character, nothing else matters. 2. Capacity. You must know your limits and honor them. Activism tricks people. It feels like a sprint, but it's really a long marathon. Burnout is not a badge of honor, it is a warning. Most resilient activists last because they treat their energy as a resource, not a weapon. I'm still figuring out how to do this myself. However, I've discovered that I go farther and longer on a tank of love than a tank of hate or bitterness ever could. 3. Credibility. In election transparency, credibility is everything. All I truly have to offer is my integrity, credibility, and my decades of experience. Credibility is hard-won and easily lost. Actions must match words. It is more valuable than money, influence, or proximity to power. 4. Civility. Civility keeps doors open that anger slams shut. Being civil is not being passive. It is choosing strength over fury, clarity over vengeance, purpose over noise. The best activists don't escalate conflict, they de-escalate chaos. 5. Citizenship. Democracy is not a spectator sport. Real citizenship means participating, questioning, observing, scrutineering. The act of voting is private, but the counting must be public. Citizenship demands we witness the process, not trust blindly. 6. Country. True patriotism isn't obedience, it's responsibility. Loving your country means holding power accountable, not protecting it from scrutiny. Transparency is the purest form of patriotism. Accountability is love in action. 7. Courage, the most important one. Courage is choosing hope over fear. Every other C points to this one. Courage is showing up, sometimes alone, when something is wrong. It is doing the work even when you're exhausted, scared, or unsure of the outcome. As Brené Brown says, vulnerability is the birthplace of trust, love, belonging, and courage. Vulnerability means showing up bruised, tired, imperfect, and telling the truth anyway. Why I'm still here. I've spent more than 2 decades on the front lines of election transparency lawsuits, investigations, public records battles, hearings, tabulation rooms, and counties all over this country. Most people walk away when it gets hard. I went all the way to the bottom. I hit the floor, literally. And here is what I learned. Hope is a better place to live. Courage is a better way to stand. Transparency is a better way to serve. And that's why I'm not stopping or giving up. Not with what we know at Audit USA. Well, the biggest reason Audit Elections USA is not stopping is we found the Rosetta Stone. We figured out that the problems in elections are complicated. We've gone back and studied the histories as far back as the Greeks. Studied the different phases of voting that happened in the United States and how the Australian secret ballot came in. Our approach has always been to identify the underlying cause before declaring a resolution. In this case, we have determined why the issue occurred. More importantly, our team has learned how to address it collaboratively. While electoral problems can be complex, the solution is straightforward: transparency with verification. In the digital era, we continue to use hand-marked paper ballots. We have developed a hybrid, streamlined system, which you can learn more about below. If you care about truth, justice, democracy, and your community, you are already halfway to being a scrutineer/auditor for democracy. To excel as an auditor, it is essential to begin with the 7 C's. Possessing the courage to apply these principles and comprehend relevant challenges is crucial. This Substack aims to provide valuable support in this endeavor. President John F. Kennedy once said, "One person can make a difference, everyone should try." I believe that. I've lived that. And I will keep proving that it is true. Returning to the effort for transparent, traceable, and publicly verified elections in Arizona. Elections that inspire trust among all of us. Fact sheet with additional details regarding ABE, auditable ballot examination. Provides links to resources detailing the importance of transparent, trackable, and publicly verified elections in the state of Arizona. Mimi Kennedy, National Election Integrity Advocate and actress, stated, "When citizens can't see into their own elections, democracy goes dark." This case shines light where it's needed most, on the right of the people to verify the process that chooses their leaders. Mimi Kennedy discusses auditable ballot examination, ABE, providing an overview of the significance of real election auditing. Former Arizona Secretary of State Ken Bennett, 5 steps to achieving verified and trusted elections. The objective is to demonstrate to the public the authenticity of our elections by ensuring transparency, trackability, and, most importantly, public verifiability. This approach also eliminates opportunities for malicious interference by removing any potential impunity for hackers. Video link. Brochure on ABE, https://bit.ly/3svn7n4. Introducing ABE. ABE is an acronym for Auditable Ballot Examination. ABE is a powerful macro for Microsoft Excel that automates the process of linking cast vote records, CVRs, with ballot images for fast, public verification and precinct-level auditing, as well as other VP features. Link to ABE's Operation Manual. ABE is named after Abraham Lincoln, who was a strong proponent of transparency. Democracy dies in darkness, but it can be revived in the light of transparency. John R. BraKey, Executive Director, Audit Elections USA, Election Scrutineer, Civil Rights Activist, Optimist. Cell 520-339-2696. My Substack page, https://substack.com/auditorjohn.